Welcome, dear viewers, to Rosenbauer's Online Product Days. In this webinar, we will introduce you to a very special firefighting vehicle. What's so special about it? It's no exaggeration to say that it is the most modern fire truck in the world. It has an electric motor, and it has an electric extinguishing system. Just two of many features that make this fire truck unique for municipal use. Its name says it all. RT is short for Revolutionary Technology. With us today to explain what this apparatus has to offer is the RT's product manager, Clemens Stangl-Kremser. Hello, Clemens. How's it going? Well, hello there, Clemens. How are you? Yes, there are two Clemenses here today. Clemens, I know that the RT is a completely distinct product, which is to say there is no regular truck chassis here on which Rosenbauer mounts its machinery. I imagine that designing this wasn't easy, and you'll probably tell us more about that. But I'd like to kick things off with the following question. How do you come up with the idea of building a revolutionary fire truck? Did you wake up one morning and say, well, let's try doing everything differently this time? Sure, that was indeed a longer process. The vision of developing a vehicle that is 100% tailored to the needs of fire departments has been floating around Rosenbauer headquarters for a very long time. Finally, in 2012, this vision became an innovation project in what we called future dialogues and interactive workshops with experts from the firefighting industry. There was a lot of discussion about future influencing factors in firefighting technology. This resulted in the first ever firefighting trend map, which can now be used as a basis to imagine and describe the firefighting vehicle of the future. In 2014, we launched a development project called CFT, or Concept Fire Truck, which aimed to realize a technology carrier as a concept vehicle, specifically to make our vision tangible, because an experiment of this kind needs more than just ideas on paper. In the fall of 2016, we presented the CFT to the public for the first time as part of Rosenbauer's 150th anniversary celebration, and it met with great enthusiasm, and the media response was huge. For this reason, we launched another development project in 2017, with the aim of developing a vehicle based on this technology for series production. We founded the development company RED, which stands for Rosenbauer E-Technology Development. With this company, we were able to focus specifically on the development task using the highest engineering skills and agile methods such as Scrum and design thinking. Essential with regard to an open invitation approach was also to develop the project in partnership with the model regions, which is to say our pilot customers. So we entered an innovation partnership with the Berlin Fire Department in October 2018, and project partnerships with Brandweer Amsterdam and the Dubai Civil Defense in 2019. Other fire departments of major cities such as Oslo, Los Angeles, Portland, Vancouver, and Canberra followed. Then in June 2020, after nearly 3 years of development, the first RT, Revolutionary Technology, was presented to the public. In September 2020, we held an RT launch event in Linz, where the first 3 test customer vehicles were presented to subsequently start test operations. And finally, as an outlook, by the end of 2021, the RT will be given production vehicle status and fully integrated into the Rosenbauer vehicle segment. This is probably a good time to go into more detail about our concept vehicle, as the CFT was an essential stepping stone for series development. Between 2017 and 2019, the CFT was on the road a lot, mainly in Europe, but also in North America. On the one hand, the CFT was a suitable object of discussion for interested customers to get a clearer idea of our vision for the future. And on the other hand, we were able to gain valuable feedback at these vehicle demonstrations and to find out which of the innovations and functionalities resonated the most. Our concept vehicle was also taken for many test drives to see how it would perform in an actual operation, so the potential customers happily sent us through their city's narrowest alleys. What was especially compelling about the CFT was the fire truck's fully functional pump. So, we might say that the CFT left a lasting impression with many. The apparatus also underwent many trial runs during the development stages to help secure the vehicle architecture and the installed technology in many respects. There were countless test drives on a test track to fine-tune the driving stability and driving dynamics. The vehicle was pushed to its limits. It was tilted sideways, mastered steep drives, and many twists and turns. Quite a few kilometers were also completed on actual roads, and various driving cycles were analyzed in great detail to collect further data. A special highlight was the severe winter weather test at a closed airport in Norway, where the CFT performed very well in sub-zero temperatures on snow and ice. One or the other fire was also successfully extinguished with the CFT. The CFT was therefore an essential tool to kick off the serial development of a revolutionary product. After all, the concept vehicle was a one-off machine, a steep step, so to speak. Making the RT ready for series production, of course, entailed making this concept multipliable and market-ready. Wow, it's really impressive to see the ideas and efforts required to turn such a vision into reality. Now tell us, Clemens, what is the really revolutionary thing about RT? Well, the revolutionary thing about the vehicle is actually the unique opportunity to conceive and proportion a fire truck from scratch. So it all started with nothing, a blank sheet of paper, so to speak. Our engineer's objective was to build a perfectly tuned firefighting apparatus, or, simply put, a mobile toolbox for fire departments. The first sketch of the vehicle was not a hand-drawn sketch of an ordinary truck with a fire truck substructure, but the so-called Rosenbauer firefighting trend map. During this process, Rosenbauer's futurologists collaborated with experts to transpose 12 megatrends into the world of firefighting and analyze their influencing factors. The map depicts these megatrends as large stations on the periphery and many networked stops in the inner area. The map thus serves as a guide into the future of the firefighting industry, in the sense of what trends can we expect in the next few years, and what are the interrelationships or dependencies. Well-thought-out overall solutions are therefore needed to respond appropriately to all these trends in the world of firefighting. And so, this trend map was also our basis for the new development of a modern, future-proof vehicle with a strong focus on safety, ergonomics, functionality, and digital mission support. It was only in the next step that we came up with the first technical sketches and drawings. To ensure that we could design the vehicle in keeping with these requirements, but still have free rein, we had to take a new approach, our very own. And this innovative approach is the reason the RT now has a chassis platform specially developed by Rosenbauer. It distinguishes the RT in the most fundamental way from the conventional European firefighting vehicle. We proceeded to construct the apparatus and define its technical parameters. Here, the advantages of the integral and self-supporting vehicle design could be realized in the best possible way. The fully integrated crew cabin with a comfortable low floor entry is a distinctive feature of the RT. Also, the selection of the main components became a special challenge for our engineers. It was particularly the partnerships with renowned suppliers from the industry that strengthened our confidence in the drive concept we selected and its reliability in operations. The progress we made in the production of the vehicles was also particularly impressive. That was because the vehicle was also built from scratch at our very own production site. Day after day, new components were added, and week after week, the vehicle took on a new shape. The result is a firefighting vehicle with a tailor-made architecture. The chassis, cabin, and superstructure form a single unit, which is clearly reflected in the well-balanced design. It also provides advantages in terms of driving dynamics. In other words, the RT is by no means a further development of an existing product family, but a completely new product. This is often referred to as a radical innovation and makes this vehicle quite revolutionary, wouldn't you say? Correct. We are, of course, aware that with a revolutionary product, there will always be some critical voices, especially in the world of firefighting, which is generally very traditionally minded. After all, firefighters know their existing emergency vehicles like the back of their hands, so a reorientation often involves considerable effort. So I'm all the more motivated to explain the technical features of the RT here, because they make life easier, safer, and more pleasant for the firefighters. One of the main features of the RT is certainly the hybrid electric drive. However, I should also mention that this was not a definite requirement for the engineers from the outset, just because it is an emerging trend in the industry. Rather, the serial hybrid idea happened more as a means to an end in retrospect. The bottom line in many cases is that it is basically irrelevant what kind of drive system is used to drive our so-called toolbox to the site of operation. However, the flexibility in the arrangement of electrical components inside the vehicle presented significant advantages for the realization of the customized vehicle architecture. In this vehicle, the internal combustion engine was not simply replaced by an electric motor, nor was the drive shaft replaced with orange high-voltage cables. No, in the RT, we implemented a completely new drive concept. Its central element is the high-voltage battery, which stores energy for the electric motors and other loads in the vehicle. This battery is centrally located low in the vehicle's frame. There are two configuration options for the RT, which determine the battery capacity and thus also the electric range and operating time. The drive system comprises two axle-centered electric motors, one on the front and one on the rear axle, with a total peak output of up to 360 kilowatt, or 490 horsepower. The torque of the electric motor is then transmitted and translated to the wheel gears via a two-speed transmission and the differential, taking the engine's full power to the road as a permanent all-wheel drive with very dynamic acceleration. Brake energy regeneration or recuperation is also possible with the RT. The vehicle therefore has a four-wheel drive plus independent air suspension system on both the front and rear axles, and has been specially calibrated for this apparatus. But the vehicle also features a range extender, which serves as a secondary energy source to ensure power supply, even during longer missions. Here, a 200 kilowatt diesel engine is used in conjunction with an electric motor as a generator, in order to provide additional power for the electrical loads if the situation requires increased power, or during long-term operations. The heart of the firefighting apparatus, the pump, is centrally located above the RT's rear axle. The transfer box above it allows the pump to be driven electrically via the generator on the one hand, and by means of an internal combustion engine on the other. Thus, the RT with its main components is perfectly equipped for any kind of operation. After all, the day-to-day work of a fire department is less about driving and more about operating the truck, or rather the equipment. Here too, the RT offers many advantages because of its drive system. Fewer emissions in the working environment. This goes for noise as well as exhaust gases. The drive system enables purely electric, and thus locally emission-free operation during firefighting missions. Here's an example. An operation involving a traffic accident and a person trapped in a vehicle. Here, emergency personnel have to make vital decisions with utmost focus. Working in a quiet location reduces stress for everyone involved. Thanks to the large energy storage unit, this is also possible in many other operational scenarios. Also, the pump is very easy to operate and monitor. In case an operation ever takes longer, the range extender automatically steps in, and the exhaust fumes are emitted upward. In addition, the firewater pump is encapsulated in the superstructure to reduce noise for the machine operator. And the modern LED lighting concept is also electrically powered and ensures good visibility all around the fire truck during operations, when it matters most. That's a basic prerequisite for a safe and successful mission. The safety of the firefighters and all those involved in the operation is paramount. To emphasize this, a lot of attention has been paid to the safety of driving the RT. Numerous safety functions have been implemented. Outstanding driving stability is another one of the RT's impressive features. A low center of gravity and a balanced axle load distribution make this possible. They ensure unprecedented driving dynamics, and thus reduce the risk of accidents. The overall apparatus structure has created excellent lateral stability during evasive maneuvers, as the cab and body behave as a single unit and there is no swaying. A permanent all-wheel drive system with axial torque control ensures sufficient driving performance during operational travel. The agile driving behavior is characterized by the excellent acceleration of the electric motors and the electronic braking system EBS, or the comfortable one-pedal driving with adjustable regenerative braking. The panoramic windshield and camera-based mirror replacement system give the driver a better view of the traffic situation. For rearward visibility, the rear-view camera helps you identify objects behind the apparatus in good time when maneuvering. When driving in the dark, the cornering lights make you see pedestrians better at intersections. In addition, the driver is supported by various assistance systems, such as ABS, ESC, and the ADAS functions such as the emergency brake assistant or the turning assistant. Not only is the RT safe on the road, it is also very safe for its occupants. In the course of redesigning the vehicle architecture, we placed particular emphasis on revolutionizing what the cabin of a modern fire truck looks like. Among other things, we analyzed traffic accident statistics for fire trucks. And we found that the typical accident scenarios with a higher probability of injury are mostly caused by a side impact with the fire truck, which means serious injuries to emergency personnel are predominantly caused by collisions at the intersections of roadway departures with subsequent vehicle rollovers. This is why the side seats for up to 4 people in the middle part of the cabin were designed in this way. In general, the seatbelt is the best means of reducing injuries in the event of an accident. With the RT, we go one step further. So the seatbelts are equipped with a 4-point seatbelt for maximum safety and optimal handling when putting on the SCBA equipment, which is possible without unbuckling the seatbelt. The cab is now open and a fully integrated unit. There is no separation between driver cab and crew compartment. This allows direct communication and the best possible interaction among the emergency personnel. The 2 front seats can also be turned inward to form the equivalent of what you have at a conference table. This arrangement is particularly well suited for briefings, as the central display and also the incident commander's removable tablet make operational planning much easier. As we've seen, the interface between the firefighters and the fire truck is also crucial to the operation's success. With the RT, Rosenbauer is breaking new ground in making both vehicle operation and firefighting technology even safer, simpler, and more intuitive. The connected info cockpit consists of the driver's workplace, the central display, and the Emerec Incident Commander tablet. While driving, the driver has an excellent view of the vehicle's status on the 10-inch display and can also use the steering wheel buttons to activate the predefined elements, such as the warning light. Many of the vehicle's functions are monitored and controlled in the cabin via the central 17-inch touchscreen. This highly intuitive graphical user interface displays the status of things like open doors or equipment compartments in a logical manner. An individual configuration of hotkeys allows you to activate pre-selected modules with a single keystroke. For example, the scene light can be switched on and the electric shutters opened at the same time by pressing a single operating key. This way, recurring complex processes are supported by software, thus simplifying the operational sequence. The system is supplemented by an Emerec Incident Commander tablet. It is also possible to mirror the tablet's content onto the central display. For instance, when the incident commander wants to show the crew the vehicle rescue map in the event of a traffic accident during the response drive, the tablet is connected to the vehicle via a secure wireless connection and thus also offers helpful support outside the vehicle during the operation. The RT allows for a wide variety of cabin layouts and thus can be configured according to the customer's specific requirements. The cabin is designed for a crew of up to 9 crew members, the standard version for 6. Particularly notable is the shared frontal view of the central display, which makes sharing mission information so much easier. The design of the modular rear cabin wall is also flexible in its configuration. Additional seats can be installed there in driving direction, or the space can be used to stow additional equipment, such as a rescue backpack or a thermal imaging camera. Entering and exiting the cabin is safe and ergonomic for the crew, because the ergonomically optimized vehicle architecture safeguards the health of emergency personnel. On the driver's instruction, the vehicle can be lowered at the scene of operation, ensuring a low working height. The vehicle features a comfortable walk-in crew cabin entry. The first step is about 260 millimeters off the ground, and there's no need to watch your head. You can enter the cabin walking upright. Firefighters are exposed to extreme physical stress, mostly in connection with the removal and transport of equipment. The RT's approach is to allow the crew to remove all equipment from ground level. Equipment compartments with hinge steps allow the ergonomic removal of equipment from any area of the vehicle. There is no need to climb onto the vehicle roof, where ladder-lowering devices ensure the convenient removal of the roof load. All this lowers the risk of injury and significantly reduces the continuous strain on the knees and backs of emergency personnel. Thanks to lightweight and space-saving aluminum sheet metal profile construction, the RT is able to provide the maximum amount of space for the load. The structure gives a high variability through system profiles. The equipment can thus be mounted according to the customer's individual requirements. What firefighters will definitely appreciate are the easily accessible full-height lockers, which are especially suitable for stowing heavy gear, such as technical rescue equipment. The RT also has a trunk with a volume of about 1 cubic meter. We created this additional loading space in the rear of the vehicle by moving the water tanks and pumps mounting position further toward the front. This resulted in a lot of easily accessible storage space, from which the equipment can now be ergonomically removed. And all this despite the fact the RT is also very compact. A special feature is the narrow vehicle width of 2.35 meters. This makes the RT very maneuverable and suitable for use in heavy traffic and narrow alleys. The vehicle length is determined by the wheelbase configuration. The shortest version of the RT has a length of 7.3 meters. The low vehicle height of 2.9 meters gives the RT a low center of gravity, thus ensuring excellent driving characteristics. The RT fits in any garage. When driving, maneuverability is of utmost importance, especially in urban areas with an old town center and narrow streets. The independent suspension, specially developed for this vehicle, with improved steering geometry and extraordinary steering angle, allows for a minimal turning radius. The RT's maneuverability can be further improved by activating the optional rear axle steering. This once again significantly reduces the turning radius with the help of the all-wheel steering, allowing the vehicle to master even the tightest corners in an alley. It also allows for the special crab walk mode, in which the vehicle can be diagonally maneuvered out of a tight spot. Well, I think we've covered most of the technical marvels that make the RT so special and revolutionary. The time we had at our disposal only allowed me to give you a brief outline of the RT's special features. Of course, I could talk about the specific details for hours on end. Many of these details you simply have to see and try for yourself to understand the vehicle's overall concept and to experience the RT in all its glory. Thank you, Clemens, for this exciting look behind the scenes of Rosenbauer's development department, and of course, also the detailed look inside the RT. Let me briefly summarize the most important points. The RT has been redesigned from the ground up, tailored to the needs of the firefighters of today and tomorrow. Not only does the RT have an electric motor, but it also operates electrically at the operational scene. Therefore, it produces fewer exhaust gases and less noise emissions. The new drive also allowed for a completely new cabin design and use of space. In addition, the apparatus is, well, let me put it in this way, extremely gentle on the crew's knees, as the unloading heights and entry levels are very low. On top of everything, there is also tremendous maneuverability because of the small size and because of the particularly large steering angle and the rear axle steering. Did I forget anything? I have nothing to add. Well, thank you, dear viewers, for watching. You can find more information on this subject at rosenbauer.com. And if you go there now, you can also chat with our product managers. See you soon and take care. Thank you very much and see you soon.